What is going on, Crimson Tide fans? We got some breaking news for you guys this morning. We have a new commitment. Alabama has now flipped four-star quarterback Jett Thomalla to their 2026 recruiting class. Originally, Jett Thomalla was committed to Iowa State, and there's been a lot of things that have gone down here in the last couple of weeks to actually have this flip come to fruition. In 2024, as a junior, Jett Thomalla threw for a very nice 69% completion percentage, over 3,600 yards, 47 touchdowns to only 3 interceptions. So this is a big-time get for the Crimson Tide. And finally, they have a commitment at that quarterback position for this 2026 class. You see right here, Jett Thomalla is ranked as the number 16 quarterback in the 247 Sports Composite rankings. He is also the number 1 player out of the state of Nebraska as well. He took his he took an unofficial visit back on May 30th to Tuscaloosa. That was just a couple days after he actually got offered by this Alabama coaching staff. Then the very next weekend, he took his official visit to Iowa State, where he was committed. Took a couple of weeks off, told Steve Wilfong and the On3 crew that, Alabama gave him a lot to think about, and he was still thinking about things. Bama Online also did report, I think this is of note as well, that he is going to be actually taking his official visit to Alabama this weekend, and that is very, very big, as we'll touch on here in just a little bit. Alabama's got some big-time players that are going to be on campus for official visits this weekend. Having your 2026 quarterback on campus is going to be a big-time thing that can help you recruit some of those, like 5-star Cederian Morgan that's going to be on campus this weekend as well. Before we move on here, want to make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Alabama Football Report. Help us fly by after we got Jett Thomalla in this class. That 25,500 subscriber mark. We're only a couple of ways to help me out. Make sure you guys hit that sub button and stay up to date on all things Crimson Tide news. All right, so these were the offers. Now, originally, we're going to have this segment completely different. Alabama ended up offering Bryson Beaver yesterday. Don't really know where that's going to go. Is Alabama going to continue to go after guys like Matt Ponitowski or Taden Kawa? Not sure where things go right now for Alabama at that quarterback spot after you finally got your quarterback commit now in Jett Thomalla. These are some of the guys. Ponitowski already took an official visit to Alabama. Bryson Beaver was on campus last weekend, got on campus on Sunday. That's when this coaching staff offered him. So these are still the 4 offers that Alabama has at that quarterback spot. Just wanted to make note of that just in case they end up also still taking a Bryson Beaver to kind of fill out that quarterback room a little bit more than it already is. All right, back to the originally scheduled stuff that we were going to talk about today. Tristan Keys now, he is the number 1 wide receiver in this class, was originally supposed to be on campus today for his official visit to Alabama. That official visit is not happening anymore, according to Tim Watts of Bama Online. This is what he said about Tristan Keys no longer taking his visit to Tuscaloosa. He said, "We have multiple sources telling us that Tristan Keys will not visit Alabama this weekend." Was originally supposed to be a midweek visit starting today. Bama was always an unlikely destination anyways, and after talking to Keys, the visit was canceled. Cederian Morgan is headed in this weekend. Brian Williams Jr. is announcing on July 1st. Booby Feaster visited back on May 30th. Still some more guys being evaluated. And it seems right now to me, these are the 4 logical wide receiver targets for Alabama right now. You got the 5-star in Cederian Morgan. Big time. He's going to be on campus this weekend. So very nice that you have your quarterback now committed, and you could possibly, kind of match him up with Cederian Morgan, get them talking about things. Kenny Darby, he is still committed to LSU as well, but did, make that announcement saying he was actually going to make his, final decision coming up here in the next couple of weeks between Alabama and LSU. He's also a top 200 guy, a 4-star wide receiver. Brian Williams Jr. was actually officially predicted to Alabama by Steve Wiltfong the other day. And then the Bama Online staff actually placed their official predictions this morning. So when those guys, Andrew Bone, Tim Watts, when they actually put their official predictions in, that's when you know it's really, really real. Still respect to the guys like Steve Wiltfong and everybody else, but they kind of put their official predictions out a little bit earlier. Man, when that Bama Online staff puts their official predictions in, it's a pretty solid sign for them. And then you also got Owen Cable as well. Alabama offered him just a couple of weeks ago after he camped at Alabama, and he ran a really, really quick 40-yard dash as well. So both of those guys a little bit lower in the recruiting rankings here, so you probably still want the 5-star Cederian Morgan and maybe Kenny Darby as well. But Brian Williams Jr., nothing to scoff at there. I think he's an underrated guy. We'll see about Owen Cable as well, but Cederian Morgan definitely still the guy, the number 1 player out of the state of Alabama, the number 2 wide receiver in this class. You definitely want to get him in this recruiting class. So let me know here at the pinned comment of today's video, will Alabama land 5-star wide receiver Cederian Morgan? May not happen this weekend, but hopefully it does happen here in the near future. We'll talk about some, decision dates here at the end of today's show. Let you know when he's actually going to be making that announcement. But let me know what you guys think down at the pinned comment of today's video. Type Y for yes or N for no. All right, we'll continue on here with some cornerback conversation here in just a second. But you guys can get $10 off this Alabama Throwback Hat today just by going to chatsports.com/Bama Hat. It's got the old school logo. I think they're calling that the Vault logo now because they put it in the Vault. Now they're taking it back out. I consider it the Block A, but whatever it is, that's my favorite logo actually for the Alabama Crimson Tide. So if you guys want to get this hat, you can get it today. $10 off on Fanatics just by going to chatsports.com/Bama Hat. I'll put that link down in the comment section and the description of today's video. There should also be a little clickable link over there in the corner of your screen as well. Also this morning, Andrew Bone talking about 5-star cornerback commit Jorden Edmonds. He received a major push from Georgia for an official visit this weekend. The 5-star corner informed the Bulldogs earlier this morning that he will not make it to Athens. Summer visits have officially concluded, and I want to make note of that as well. It seems like there are a lot of recruits out there, not just for Alabama, but for other schools as well, who are going out there, making their commitments and then completely shutting it down. I feel like that has been more of a thing this year than it has been in years past, but you got schools out there, getting NIL deals, whatever. Don't really know how that's going to change with this revenue sharing stuff, but more recruits out there are actually shutting their commitments down earlier than expected, I think, from the past, what we've seen anyways. But, the season's still coming up. All of this, just because he shuts his recruitment down does not mean Georgia's not going to still maintain that relationship and still contact him pretty much every single day because he is still the number 2 player out of the state of Georgia. This right now is currently Alabama's 2 defensive back commits that they have in this class right now. You've got Jorden Edmonds, the 5-star. Then you also have Zyan Gibson, who is actually took a visit to Tennessee this past weekend as well. There were reports out there that, Tennessee is really coming after Zyan Gibson hard. They really want him to flip in this 2026 class. But as of right now, man, you've got the number 1 corner and the number 3 corner in this class. You're also going after Jaden Terry, Georgia Tech commit, who was on campus last weekend for an official visit. You're also going after 5-star safety WR Edwards, who has predictions to Alabama. Of note, by the way, Brandon Arrington actually dropped his top 2 last night. Dropped Alabama from that. It's going to be Oregon and Texas A&M in his top 2. And then 5-star safety Jet Washington as well. Steve Wiltfong yesterday placed an official prediction for him to commit to Oregon. So on this current Alabama roster right now, what do you think is the strongest position group right now for Alabama? Is it that defensive back room? Is it that wide receiver room? Is it maybe something else that, we might be overlooking? Maybe the linebacker room? Let me know what you guys think down in the comments of today's video. All right, we've got some official decision dates coming up here pretty soon I wanted to go over as well. Sincere Johnson, really it's between Alabama and Ohio State. Penn State still in there for him as well in his top 3, but I think it's really Alabama and Ohio State, one of the top players out of the state of Ohio. So it's going to be tough to get him away, but you also still have Xavier Griffin. You're recruiting him at that wolf spot, at that outside linebacker spot. So I guess there still is technically a chance you could get both guys because Alabama is recruiting them at different positions technically. Sincere Johnson at that middle linebacker spot and then Xavier Griffin at that wolf spot. EJ Crowell going to make his announcement on June 26th. He'll be on campus this weekend for his official visit. Max Sutter, the tight end, he'll make his decision the very same day. So there's a chance Alabama might get 2 commitments on the exact same day there. And then maybe even the next day as well with Malachi Lee, the interior offensive lineman, making his decision on June 27th. And then you go over, you're really heavy on the wide receivers here. Brian Williams Jr., July 1st is going to be his decision date. Cederian Morgan, going to be on campus this weekend for an official visit. He'll be committing on July 2nd. Boobie Feaster, he was actually predicted to Texas A&M. I believe that was by Steve Wiltfong yesterday as well. So he is still out there as an option, but Texas A&M really does seem like the team to beat right now for Boobie Feaster. He'll be committing on July 4th, and then the 5-star safety Jaira Edwards is going to be committing the very next day on July 5th. And then linebacker Nick Abrams also going to be making his announcement on July 16th.